We are back again. Hold up. Hold up. What are we doing? Hold on, let me make sure I get this. Let me make sure I get this right. Here we go. All right. Come on now, people. Let's get hype. It's another live stream. We are here today to talk about Spurs. Another win at home. Come on now. We need to hear a little bit more noise. Come on. Let's get hype. You could be anywhere right now. You could be anywhere watching anything. You're here with De La Spurs live. You're watching this live on YouTube right now. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Here we are. Yes, sir. It is another beautiful live stream today. It is Monday, December 8th. I am your host, De La Spurs. This is De La Spurs Live. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's get some. Hey. Come on. I need a little bit more than that. Come on. All right. Yeah. Come on, guys. Let's get hype in here. Let's get hype. Come on. Here we go. Let's get hype, folks. Come on. Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, everybody. Gather in, gather around. Get your friends. Tell your loved ones. It's happening again. De La Spurs, we're live again, baby. Let's go. All right. Feeling good tonight. Getting hyped for this live stream. I'm going to be coming to you guys for about an hour. Don't want to take too much of the time, man. Just want to talk a little bit of Spurs with you. Beginning of the week. I hope your Mondays are going well. Hope everybody is getting to it, getting this money, getting these opportunities. I hope you're knocking out that Christmas shopping. Get that Christmas shopping going. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. All right. Make sure you get those gifts in, people. You know what I'm saying? But I hope your Monday evening is going well today. Like I said before, you could be anywhere here tonight. You're here with us, De La Spurs Live. So get in on everything. Feel free to talk in the chat. Feel free to address me or others in the chat. If you see anybody else in the chat, hell, you don't even have to say anything about Spurs or football or talk tactics or whatever. You just want to say hello to each other. How you doing? What's up? What's your name? Where are you from? Whatever it may be. Hey, whatever it may be. But I'm glad that you guys are here. We're going to be talking about Spurs tonight. As you can see in the post and the description, some of the topics we're going to be hitting. We're obviously going to be talking about Brentford. We're going to be talking about this Champions League tie coming up against Slavia Prague. Yeah, we're going to be talking about stuff like what we need to win the Premier League. We're going to be going over a lot of things. Like I said, it's only going to be about an hour. Don't want to take too much of your times, but let's go ahead and get the formalities out the way, man. Like and subscribe to the stream. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Hey, man, the more people we can get in on this, the better it's going to be. We're going to be showing up. We're going to be showing live. Like I said, go ahead and tell your family and your friends about the live stream. Let them know greatness. Hey, man, if you haven't seen greatness yet, 6:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 Central Standard Time here in America. Come join greatness. You are witnessing it live, folks. And you want to be there. You want to be there and say, hey, I was there for day one. I was at ground zero when this all went up. Hey, man, I was there when it happened. Congrats to the brother. Hey, man, we're going to be going up for – it's only going up for here. It's only going up from here. So that's all I'm going to say. Let me move this down a little bit. There we go. A little bit lower. There we go. But get in on the live stream. Get in on everything. If you subscribe to the channel, I'm going to be posting when I'm going to be going live. I'm not going to lie. I got some work stuff coming up, man. This week I'm going to be traveling. I'm traveling on Wednesday. So I'm going to be in the middle of traveling. So I may not go live on Wednesday, but we're definitely going to try to go live on Friday from either the hotel room or wherever I'm going to be at, whatever this job's going to have me be at that time. We're going to try to go live, even if it's just from the phone, me holding up the phone to my face. We're going to try to go live. So get in on everything. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the notification on so you can see when I'm about to post. All right. I'm trying to get everything going with my X channel. So when I do when I do the live stream, or at least post when the live stream's going up on X. So we're going to get that all integrated. So if you're following me on X, you're going to be able to get updates of when I'm going live on YouTube so you can join in on the greatness. So follow me on X as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you click that description or you click on the link in the description, it will have the link to my X page. So go to the X page and subscribe. Like I said, I'm getting all that tied together. We're going to work it together. Get all that together so that when I post on YouTube, it goes on X. It alerts everybody of when I'm going live so you guys can get in on this live. I want you guys here live for this, all right? I want to be able to talk about all this stuff and witness this stuff with you live, go over my opinions and everything. At the end of the day, this is all it is. It's just opinions, right? All right, I'm not sitting here saying I'm some, certified coach. I'm not saying I'm trying to become a manager in the Premier League. I'm not saying anything like that. I haven't played any sort of professional football in any sort of level. So not trying to come in here saying I'm higher than that. I got more knowledge. I'm just sharing my opinions as a fellow Spurs fan. If you want to share your opinions, feel free to hit that live chat, or you can address them directly at me or at others, whatever it may be. I like hearing others' opinions. We're going to talk about everything Spurs. So get in on the action now. Get in on this now so that way you're not standing in line outside the club later on. You hear me? You hear me? So just had to get that intro out the way. We are going to be talking about a plethora of things tonight. I got my little topic sheet here. So just like I said, kind of in the at the beginning, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. First, we're going to be talking about Spurs 2, Brentford 0. That's right. Oh, finally a home win. It feels great to win at home. That's right. Frank's former team as well, too. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. He showed them, listen, I made the upgrade. I don't need you. All right. I'm only going up from here. All right. Players look good in the game. Frank looked good in the game as far as getting everything right tactically. So we're going to break it all down here tonight. We're also going to be talking about, is this the turning point, right? Is this the turning point for everything? Are we going to see Tottenham go up from here? It's the end of the calendar year, folks. It's the end of the calendar year if you haven't realized it. All right. We only got 20-some more days left in 2025. It's crazy. So what do Tottenham need going into next season to get this right? And is this the turning point, right? A lot of pressure was on Frank. A lot of pressure on those players, especially going into that Newcastle game against a team we haven't beaten in I don't know how long. We got the draw away. We come back home. We get a win at home. What does this all mean? Is this the turning point of Frank's tenure? Is this the turning point for some of the players? We saw Xavi have a great game. Saw Romero have a great game. Is this them establishing we're back? And this is the Spurs that everybody knows and loves. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be previewing the Champions League tie. We got Spurs versus Slavia Prague, right? And then we're also going to be talking about as well what's needed to win the Premier League. It's one of the most difficult leagues in the world. It's one of the toughest leagues in the world to try to win and be competitive in. So we're going to talk about what Spurs need to do to compete in that league. That's going to be like a little side topic we're going to address at the end, kind of going fresh opinions from that, especially looking at how the season is unfolding, what we need going into January and what do we need going into next summer. So we're going to be addressing all that here tonight. I need everybody to go in, like I said, like this stream. We're about to dive right into it. Oh, yes. Tottenham 2, Brentford 0 here. I got some of the notes from the game pulled up right here. Thank you. I finally did my research, did some notes. All right, here we go. We're going to try to find some starting lineup information here. What do we got? Starting lineup. All right, so this is the starting lineup we had against Brentford at home. So in goal, we had Vicario, of course. It looks like he only had to make one save on the night, so not too difficult for him, not too difficult at all. We have in defense, Pedro Porro, Christian Romero, Van de Ven, and Jed Spence. In the midfield, or the midfield players, we had Rodrigo Bentancur, Archie Gray, and Mohamed Kudus. Attacking players, we had Xavi Simon, who got the goal in the game, Richarlison, who got the other goal. I believe his goal was first. And then we have Kolo Muani as well that was starting out in the game. Just looking at the display here, it looks like we had Kolo Muani up top, Richarlison wide on the left, Simon in the middle, Kudus out right, Archie Gray and Bentancur in the middle, Van de Ven and Romero as those starting backs. And we have Pedro Porro and Spence bombing down on the wings. Listen, hold on. I dropped my charger from my laptop. All right. So what did I think of those starting lineups? I'll say this. It's a good lineup from what I saw. I think we had some strong performers out there on the field. It doesn't feel like Thomas Frank was trying to take a reserve approach or necessarily trying to rest people. It looks like we were playing pretty much the top attacking line of what we got. Let me see here. Yeah. It looks like we pretty much had what looks to be the best attackers we have in that midfield. Do see a little bit of a difference. Bentancur and Archie Gray in the midfield. Now, Archie Gray being the youngster on the team, hasn't really gotten a whole bunch of starts, but started in today's game. Thought he did pretty well. Good showing for him as well as getting the win. So that's always going to be good. In the back, Romero, Van de Ven, being solid, stomping out the fires like we needed. Vicario, like I said, he only had to make one save, so I don't think he was too busy on the day. But yeah, man, good win, good vibes at home. I thought we had a good balance of attacking and defense. I think there was a couple of moments where Brentford tried to get out on the break and counterattack us. Like I said, Van de Ven, Romero in the back to help stomp it out. Good. I think it was a good performance. From everybody out there. There was a showing for the subs as well. Let me see here. Let me pull this back up. Let's see here. We got for the subs. We had Wilson Odebear come on in the 74th minute. We had Pape Sarr in the 80th minute, Pelini in the 65th, and Kevin Danzo in the 81st. If I remember correctly, I believe Danzo went on for Romero, who had the standing ovation. But yeah, good showing from the substitutes as well. Listen, man, good showing at home, something that was very, very much needed for Frank and for the players. I think really really even a draw at home would have. I'm not sure if they would have been able to recover from that mentally. I think the fans probably would have been booing. Nobody would have been happy. But we got the win. We got what we needed. I'm sure Frank's happy he got the win against his former team, showing everybody, the Spurs fans, even the Brentford fans, hey, man, I've moved on. This is my new team. This is my new club. It's only going up for here. And that's what we're trying to get. That's what we want from this, right, folks? That's what I'm saying. We want this to be going up from here. We want this to be, I would say, a standard, the baseline for performance, but I know that's not the case. Definitely think the players dug in a lot, knowing that Frank was under that pressure, knowing they were under that pressure as well. So I think they kind of dug in and, got Frank the results that he needed. The test will be the next game. How do you approach the next game? Are you going to be playing at that same level, or was that just to save Frank's job? Was Frank crying and pleading and doing all this in the locker room to try to get you guys to perform? Or is this actually you finally understanding the players and the manager coming to an accord for a performance? Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is, because if we can see a little bit more of what we saw against Brentford. And don't get me wrong, Brentford's they're not a top team. I think they've been tough to play against, especially if you go to Brentford, if you play them at home. They've been a tough team to play, but they're no top team. I think similar to what we did, if you get 1 or 2 goals on them, I'm not sure if they're necessarily capable of some major comeback. I think they're just a team that tactically sets up, similar to Frank, tactically sets up not to lose, and then they kind of go from the counterattack from there. And if they're able to get a couple of goals and their countermeasures work in stopping you, that's how they get these results in points. But no top team by anybody's imagination. So really it's business as usual, business as it should be for Spurs getting that win. But we'll take it, folks. That's right. We'll take the win. We take the win at home anytime. Who was my player of the match? Woo! That's a tough one. Player of the match. I think Xavi Simons had a good showing that game. And if you wanted to give him man in the match, I wouldn't be mad. Yeah, Xavi Simon. Or you know what? I'm trying to think of who else. I would give it to. I got it. I know. Stop the flow of the show to do that. But Simons, yeah, my man in the match. Did Frank get it right? We always gotta ask that question, right? Did Frank get it right? I say he got it right. We got the win. That was an important win for him. It's an important win for us, important win for the players. So I say he got it right. Whatever he said in that locker room, whatever he said to whoever he talked to during that day, whatever he said it to, it worked. It worked because the team came together to get that result, clean sheet, win at home. I think tactically, like I said, I don't think there was too much to worry about for Brentford. They're no top team at all, but it looks like how we set up, we were able to stomp out and counter any measures they set up against us. But I imagine they set up their team to knowing, especially going into Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, that they weren't going to be the dominant on the ball in all this. But man, I think tactically we got it right. We got pretty much pretty much everything right, as far as the players starting lineup to the subs to the individual assignments. Like I said, I don't think Vicario or that back line had to do too much There's a couple of transitions they were able to stomp out, but other than that, nah, man. Don't think there was really much anything else or really much anything in it for Brentford. So that's good. So I say this is a good sign for Frank. I think he got it right. So yeah, we got to give him a round of applause for that. Give him the round of applause for that. Yeah, man, a good game overall. Good game overall. I don't have too many complaints other than the kind of the usual. I feel like as far as what we have to what we can utilize as far as the players, it could be better still. I still think it can be better. But getting into the next point, is this the turning point? You think with all the pressure that was on the team from going from losing to Fulham to going to Newcastle and going back home to Brentford, there was a lot of pressure that was on the team, a lot of pressure that was on the manager. Hell, probably a lot of pressure on the coaches as well. Their jobs relying on that too. But I think that as far as what we saw with the team banding together and doing what they can to get this result, I think one could argue this is a turning point for the team. And the reason why I say this is because right now I think for the team, again, we're at the calendar end of the year, end of the calendar year, I should say. I think some of these players may be saying or maybe thinking, if we were able to survive through, this is not necessarily half the season, but kind of like this first part of the season, right? You go into January, you get the break. You still got a couple more games, so I'm not saying it's over yet. But if we're able to survive through this end of December, and I'll pull it up right now where we are in the table. We're 11th, so not in necessarily the desired place, but we're only 3 points off of 5th place, Chelsea. We are 4 points off of Crystal Palace, surprisingly, in 4th place. So we're only 4 points off the top 4. If we're able to go into December, we're only maybe 2 points, maybe a win off the top 4. I think a lot of players, even Frank, will say, hey, we'll take that. We'll take that all the way to the bank, baby. And going into January, I think Frank and that coaching staff and the sporting director need to get together and say, hey, what do we need to do to put together to fill in some holes, to cover some spots, do a little bit of repair work for this squad going into the next half or the next part of the season. And what we also have to keep in mind as well is that, a lot of these cup competitions are going to be coming to a head, as well as the Premier League. So as the Premier League race may get intense for who can finish in the European spots, we're also going to be seeing us going into some of these cup ties. I know we had a draw today. I think it was in the FA Cup. I think it was FA Cup with Newcastle. So, or I'm sorry, Aston Villa. It was Aston Villa. I'm sorry. Hey, I don't want to hear all that. Hey, I'm just a human. Okay, leave me alone. But we drew Aston Villa. I can't remember if we played them at home or away, but they're also going to be some competition we have for the cups. And so, like I was saying, all that's going to be coming to a head as the season for the Premier League gets more and more intense. Deciding what those European positions are going to be. Because if the table is similar or pretty much looks exactly the same from what I'm seeing right now going into January, literally the top 5 through 12 are all up for top 4. 5 through 12 are all up for European competition. So A lot of teams are going to be up for it. A lot of teams may not be up for it. Some teams may be going into the transfer window with the list. I think what we need to do as Tottenham is I think we need to reinforce the squad. I'm not saying we buy any new players. I'm not saying we're building or anything. I don't think we're going to get any top players at this point in the season, but reinforce what we got. Reinforce us so that we can try to get top 6. Okay, top 6 in Europe is what I'm going for. I'm not trying to shoot for the top 4. We are not ready for any sort of top 4 race. I don't think the players are good enough. I don't think we're consistent enough. I don't think Frank is cut for that sort of head-to-head with another club, going week to week, winning games while he's also managing the squad and managing the fans and managing whatever else he's got to manage. So top 6 for me. If we can reinforce the squad, get a left winger. Left winger is important. Right? Get a left winger. I think we also could use another. What was that? Well, I guess on the left side, we could also use. I would love a ball playing number 8. I would love a number 8 to kind of get in there and sort of kind of take the spot from the Archie Grays and the Bergvals and the Bentancurs. I want someone who's a little bit more active on the ball. Someone has a little bit more tech, a little bit more flair, a little bit of a better eye for the game and creating chances than those players. Not saying those players haven't been serviceable, but I think what a lot of the sentiment that I've shared and other fans have shared, we've been seeing these players for years. For some reason, we're not allowed to judge Bergvall and Archie Gray because of their age. For some reason, there's a form that Bentancur that fans believe that he can reach up to again when we were only challenging for top 4. So the ceiling that he's was supposed to reach, or the ceiling that he needs to get back to, is only good enough for us to compete with top 4. So I don't really know why fans hold on to Bentancur, but they're holding on to him. I think Paulinho, he's a 6, so he's not really going to be playing in that 8 position. So I think you can say Pape Sarr. He kind of switches between the 6 and the 8 as well. So, but I think he usually goes, from what I'm seeing this year, he's usually either in an 8, or they even have him playing. Frank has him playing higher up in the 10 position, which is quite strange. I don't think he's good on the ball at all. But they want him on the ball in those positions, so whatever. But either way, we need someone to come in, and what I want is to take the job from these players. I want these players to have to look at someone bossing their position on the field. I want someone to come in and immediately challenge for their spots, immediately want to take their positions and say, hey, I whether it's a loan or a permanent buy, this guy is here to stay. He's here to be in the starting 11. He's here to rule. And these players need that sort of wake-up call, because I think a lot of them are getting comfortable with getting the starting position. Especially a Bentancur. It seems like he's been getting the start. And don't get me wrong, I think he did well against Brentford. I don't think he did anything too sloppy, but I think we can do better. I think we can raise the levels by getting another player in. And if that player comes in and kind of raises the levels of everybody else kind of in that position that's vying for his spot, then that's even better, right? That's even better. That's only going to make Tottenham better, right? No, we don't need to worry about, he came in and took Bergvall. What are they going to do? How are we going to develop these players? No, you need someone to come in and take care of right now. And if these guys can come in and get their substitute minutes, or come in and play these lower teams, these bottom 10 teams, and come in and show out, then that's what they need to do. But I don't trust a Bergvall against an Arsenal or a Chelsea or hell, I would even say a Man United. And Aston Villa, I don't trust Bergvall in those situations. I don't trust Archie Gray in those situations. I barely trust Bentancur. So I'm not for this. Well, let me just say this. I think we need somebody to come in the January window to kind of help figure that position out. And I think with that, if we can get someone who's good on the ball in the number 8 position, that's only going to help Xavi Simon when he's in the 10. If there's somebody that can help connect the play from the defense to the midfield to the offense to putting the ball in the net, and he's on that level with Xavi and Kolomwani and Kudus and playing the one touch and the give and goes and all that. It's only gonna raise the levels of the team, and it's gonna force some players. It's gonna force players to either sit down or to stand up. One of the two. You're either gonna have to sit down on that bench or you're gonna have to stand up and fight for your position. But none of this of what we're seeing, where we're just kind of going around the ringer. If Bentancur is either hurt or you have him playing in the 6, putting in a kid. Like I don't like that. So left winger, right, left back, number 8. I know we have Solanke and Richarlison, but you could also argue, could we go for another attacker, right? Maybe not. But yeah, those are the 3 positions. Left winger being number 1. Left winger being the number 1 position we need to be looking for. And then left back at number 2. I think, the number 8 can wait a little bit, especially because I think the team might want to try to invest in that position during the summer versus scraping for options during January and then having to commit to that, because you can't buy number 8 with all these midfielders that we got and then try to go buy another 8 in the summer, or unless you bring them in on loan and you let them go at the end of the summer, right? Or you sell some of the players that we have, which I'm also in agreement for. So that's kind of the reinforcements we need for January, and I think with that we'll be able to get into a European competition. I think that will help Frank immensely if he's able to get a competition for himself. I think that will do wonders for his own confidence and his tactics and what he believes, for his coaching staff and what their game plan is with the club. I think that will help the club revenue-wise, staying relevant, being in the competition. Yes, it may not be Champions League, but if we're in and amongst the European competitions, we can stay relevant. We can be on the radar for players that want to leave, want to go somewhere, that want to make something happen, and we can bring them in. All in all, I think it just helps the players as well. Yes, I think every player on that team wants to be playing in Champions League. I think every fan wants the team to be playing in Champions League. But if we can be in the Europa League and it's a competition we could win, I don't think there's any issue with us winning the Europa League a bunch of time. You look at a team like Sevilla in Spain, right? There was a point where they were winning the Europa League like almost every other year, especially in that time, the rules where you could drop down from the Champions League into the Europa League. So there's times where we've seen Sevilla do that. There's times where we've seen teams that get dropped down to the league, and then because they're so good, they can just go in and win it. And that's expected of them. So, especially, we're defending champs this season, but we're not in the competition. But going in, and say if we got the Europa League next season, you go in, someone who's recently won the cup, it's going to be high expectations on us. I would imagine at that point we have some more players in that can help solidify our chances of winning in that competition. So then you're setting yourself up for a European competition in which Frank, his confidence is raised, the players' confidence is raised, the team is still getting money from being in the competition. We're still relevant. If we could win it, another step, another trophy, another good day for Tottenham. So, it's the reinforcements that we're going to be needing in the January window are very important, because I think it's going to set Frank up for what that next season is going to be. If we don't get European competitions, it may help Frank because he'll only have one game a week, so to speak, with being in only the domestic cups, right? But I don't think the fans are going to be happy, one, because with, say, the worst manager, we got into a cup competition. We were able to win that cup competition. With the so-called better manager, we weren't able to do that. So, what the hell's going on? Fans are going to be, going back. You can have some players that are like, listen, man, I've been here for 3 or 4 years. This team is trying to put something together for us to compete at a higher level. We haven't been able to do that consistently. I'm out of here. I don't want to be here. I want to be a part of a team that's either consistently getting Champions League or consistently winning trophies, whether it's domestic, European, wherever it may be. I want to be a part of a team that wins, i.e. Mandevin, i.e. a Romero, i.e. a Polina, who's only here on loan, right? You could say even Kolo Muani, who's also only here on loan, right? Those 2 loan signings may be saying, I'm done. I'm out of here. You guys aren't getting European competition. That's what I wanted. That's why I came here to play in the first place. You're not getting it next year. Bye-bye. Don't care. They don't have any personal ties or any, we got to sit here and help fix the club for everybody. No, they can leave and go to whatever club that's in the Champions League that needs those types of players, just like how we utilize them this season. So you can have teams or players like that potentially leave. For Frank, missing out, I'm not sure what that will do to his confidence, but I mean, it's his first season here at Tottenham, so maybe he'd say, yeah, getting into Europe was not necessarily on the to-do list, but it was definitely something that he was capable of. I think if we got the reinforcements, if we didn't get the reinforcements, I think he would have a chip on his shoulder with the club. He might even start to develop a chip on his shoulder with the fans, because I'm sure the fans are going to be on his ass for that. And it just won't be a good situation going into next season. The expectations are going to be high. The tension's going to be high amongst the players, the manager, and the fans. And it's not going to be conducive to anything, especially the beginning of next season. So it is so, so important that we get reinforcements, in my opinion, in January. So important, because if we don't, you're going to be looking at Frank walking out of the door next season. And we're going to go back into the manager roundabout all over again. And as much as Spurs fans say, we can just fire one manager and bring another top manager in because we're Tottenham and we're going to pay them one, I think that can only work so much, right? Because I think what a lot of people are seeing is, one, for Tottenham, yes, you're going to get the payday, right? You're going to get paid to be the manager here, all right? That's almost required at this point because the job looks so fucking shitty from outside looking in, right? The only way Tottenham's going to be able to bring somebody in is bringing someone who's a complete novice or someone who's looking for the dinero. So they know they're going to get a payday, but are they going to receive the backing that they want? More than likely not. Are they going to be able to utilize the players that are already here to achieve something? More than likely not. The players here are very inconsistent. That's something that's been apparent over the last 4 years. The fact that we've kept these players, but yet we've fired all these managers in that time shows you that the players have not been anywhere near consistent enough to do anything with the manager that the crowd, the team, and the club felt were warranted to keep them, right? Like, if Ange didn't finish 17th last season, I definitely would have thought he would keep his job. They wouldn't just fire him. If he got 10th last season and we won the cup, he would have kept his job. Would have kept his job. But the fact that we finished so low, right? And you can say, it's the injury crisis of the century, the injury crisis of the century, whatever. The fact is, we got 17th. That wasn't good enough. The players that have been playing with Ange for 2 seasons, I pretty much look like they gave up on everything except for that cup, and it wasn't conducive to anything. Next season, the club, I guess, did not have any confidence in what the players and that manager were going to be able to do, so they got rid of the manager. They made the manager culpable. Those players got off the hook again, and now we bring in Frank. We're seeing some of the same struggles. Don't get me wrong, I think Frank has had his hand in some of the team struggles, but we've seen some of the same struggles we saw with Ange. These players aren't good enough or skilled enough on the ball to do anything. No matter what formation and position you put them in, when they get on the ball, if you suck, you suck, right? If you're shit, you're shit. It doesn't matter where you are on the pitch. It doesn't matter who you're going up against. It doesn't matter what your positioning is, right? If you're shit with the ball, you're going to be shit with the ball. Same way Richarlison was shit under Ange. No, I'm sorry. Shit under Conte, shit under Ange. And now, I mean, he got a goal. He's been doing somewhat decent with Frank, but when you see him actually in the game, other than his goals, what is he doing for us? What is he doing for us? So it's like, it doesn't matter, if you're not good, you're not good. It doesn't matter who the manager is. It doesn't matter what he's telling you. If you're not a good player, you're not a good player. So, yeah. Yeah, with that, I mean, it's gonna be if we can't secure any sort of Europe, it's gonna be a long day for Frank, and it's gonna be a long day for the fans. It's gonna be a long day for the club because obviously, I think at baseline minimum, the expectations for these fans is to always be in Europe. As much as fans want to downplay what our expectations are, and they want to downplay, oh, but we got these young players, and we got this, and don't get me wrong, it is flip-floppy, hypocritical in a way, but all in all, at the end of the day, fans still want us to be in Europe. Fans want us to win every game. Fans want us to be competing for the Premier League. Fans want us to be competing for a trophy every season. And don't let any Spurs fan tell you any different, because it's false. If they're sitting there saying that's not what we want, then it's false. It's false. It's absolutely false. We want to be in. We want to be in. We want to be at the table with some of the big names, and we want to be able to compete with some of those big names. Not just be there and be happy about it, because there's plenty of times we were there and just happy about it, and it wasn't good enough. We saw fans complain, right? So we want to be amongst everybody. We want to compete amongst everybody, and we want to win amongst everybody. And to do that, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. So kind of moving that, transitioning into the topic, I was, going to discuss towards the end. What do Tottenham need to win the Premier League, right? So let me just kind of carry on from this season, right? If everything happens that I've been talking about as far as getting the reinforcements and going into the summer of next season, let's just say we got the reinforcements we needed. We bought a left winger and a couple of players out on loan, right? We go into next season, right? What do we need to win? Well, first, I think we need to get rid of some players. Ultimately, I think every good team, every elite club, every good team knows that you can't just keep a squad of 25 players together for multiple years. You got to let go of some people. You got to bring some new people in. And it's a balance, right? It's hard to judge. I'm not saying it's something that's easy and that's anybody can call out or point out, but I think it is a necessity. You're only as strong as your weakest link, as the cliche saying goes. So if your weakest link right now is a teenager that can't even get any damn starting time because whatever reasons are not good enough, then guess what? When you go through the injury crisis, when you're going through the forms and it feels like nobody can get a goal, guess who you're going to have in that locker waiting to guess who you're going to be pulling out and shining off, ready to present to to Arsenals and the Man Cities and the Liverpools when you're needing to play. You're gonna have that teenager that wasn't good enough to play, and it's not gonna be good enough. And we're not gonna be able to achieve what we need to achieve. But the fans are still going to say, oh, well, we want this guy to play, but we got to win, and you got to do this. You got to develop the young players. You got to start the young players. We got to win every game. We can't concede a whole bunch of goals, but, we got to see some sort of development. But you also need to be good at recruiting and bringing players in for right now. But those players right now can't take up the spots of the young players you bought. And what about, the academy kids? The academy kids are being blocked by the youngsters we're buying. So you need to get rid of some of the. And it's just a whole amalgamation of BS, sloppy BS, right? So going into next summer, you need to buy three established players. You need to buy an established attacker who is, I don't want to say an accredited, a certified goal scorer. I'm not saying he has to have crazy 30, 40 goals seasons for 5, 6 seasons straight, but you need to have a player that is competent to understand that in whatever position they get the ball, their job is to put it in the back of the net. And if they can't, pass it. That's who you need. That's what you need. You need someone who's going to be common enough to put the ball in the back of the fucking net, and if they can't, keep the possession of the ball or pass it. But no, you need a top attacker. You need a top midfielder. I think we need another midfielder again. An 8 is what I think this team needs. I think we can go forward with Xavi Simons and James Maddison as the 10s. Hell, you can even put Kulu in there as well if you want to drop them into that midfield. So those are your 3 10s right there, right? And you could say technically Madison's first just based off what he's done for the club and stuff. Xavi comes in second, Kulu's third. So those are your 3 10s, right? You got your 8s right now, which I think we got. Hold on, let me pull up the squad. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I know. Hold on. I'm getting the squad. Hold up. Yeah, damn it. Just hold on. Will you just wait a damn minute? Okay. All right, I got the midfielders pulled up here. I got the list. All right, relax. Okay. So looking at the midfielders we have, these are all of them, including players that are out on loan. These are all the midfielders signed. We have George Abbott, Rodrigo Bentancur, who plays, Lucas Bergvall, who plays, Vez Basuma, who had recently some balloon thing. So I'm not sure if we're going to be hanging on to him much longer. I don't think Frank has given him any opportunities to come in and try to establish himself under him. So I think Frank, if there's any player that's going to be coming in, this season, especially at age 29, Basuma, there's going to be any player that's going to be coming in or that's going to be leaving, it's probably going to be him. Alfie Devine, Archie Gray, who plays, Tyrese Hall, Mohamed Kudus, who plays, Dejan Kulusevski, who will play but is injured at the moment, Rio Rio. There's James Maddison, who's injured, would play. Yang Min Hyuk, I think he's out on loan right now. It's funny. I thought he was an attacker, but I guess they have him listed as a midfielder. Callum Ulusesi. If you don't remember, he scored in the Europa tie. I forgot who we're playing, but he scored a home goal. I'm pretty sure it was the game winner. The game-winning goal for that tie. João Palhinha, who plays, and Pape Sarr, who plays. So just kind of looking from the list here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 midfielders who are youngsters that don't play. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 midfielders that do play and do get time. A couple of them are hurt. And then we have really the one in Basuma, who I think is probably a guaranteed sell for next summer. So you got 8 midfielders that play, 6 midfielders that don't play, and one that's just pretty much on the out. I think there's some room for improvement in there. If you have 8 midfielders that you're using or utilizing, 6 youngsters that are not being used, I would say for any if we're just going to take the same numbers that we have, 8 midfielders, I think 2 of those should be from the academy. I think you need 3 of them that can come in and pretty much be the reinforcements, right? And then I think you need 3 absolute top midfielders, right? And I think that's the bare minimum. I think you need 3, 1 in each position, a top midfielder in each position. If you want to be, if you want to go for it, right? I think you need at least probably 4. You probably need 4 to 5 top midfielders, right? You probably need 4 to 5 top midfielders. So if one of them gets hurt, or that you need to transition that midfield a little bit as far as rotation, right? You got top players in the midfield that can hold either the defense or the offense down in games. And it's so important, right? So going into the summer, if you can get a top midfielder to come in with João Palhinha, Xavi, and Madison, I think those are your 5. I'm not saying these are the top elite midfielders of the world, but those are João Palhinha, Madison, Xavi, bringing a top midfielder. I don't want to say Kulusevski. I don't really think Kulusevski is a top midfielder. I still feel like he's the Juventus reject, but we're going to just say Kulusevski for example. Those are your top 5 midfielders right there that I think you're not going to win again, I don't think you can win the Premier League with Kulusevski. So let's just say this. You get 2 top midfielders along with James Madison, Xavi Simons, João Palhinha, right? Those are your 5 top midfielders you need. In the defense, I think you have Romero Van de Ven. I think is a great back line. I think that's a great back line. But I think just kind of like what we're seeing across the street at Arsenal, I think you need 4 defenders that are pretty much at that level. And yes, it's hard to get that balance because those defenders, all 4 of them are going to want to play. All 4 of them are going to want to start. But if you have, obviously, Romero and Van de Ven now, those are your that's your set 2 defenders that you're pretty much going to start. And both of them are good to go. You're starting both of them. So if those other top defenders come in and challenge for that spot, again, raises the levels for the team. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to sit here and try to debate or argue who should be starting over who. Oh, this guy deserves this and this guy deserves that. But more than likely, they're probably going to Van de Ven and Romero would get the start just for being the mainstays for all these years now. But bring in 2 top defenders, right? We got Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, Udogie, and Ben Davies. That can play out wide. Get rid of Ben Davies, of course. Bring in a top left back, in my opinion. The top left back that actually plays left back is not a converted wing back is not a converted central back, but a top left back who plays a position, who bombs down the wings, who's strong defensively, and who can put a cross in. I'm not saying he's got to play this tiki-taka football like you see in some of these players. I just want someone who can put a good cross in, who can run up and down the wings, who can put a tackle in. You give me one of those, one of the top left backs who can do all three of those things, right? That's your defense set. That's your midfield set. In attack, I think the attack is where we have most room to get rid of players, right? Let's bring on the attackers. Let's look at them. Hold on. You have Yusuf Akamakaric, right? You have Jamie Donnelly, Brennan Johnson, who is not good at all. Randall Colomuani, Richarlison, who is, you can get rid of him. Will Lancashire, who hasn't really gotten the stars that we're looking at or looking for, or probably he's looking for, I should say. Wilson Odebear. Yeah, Dane Scarlett, Xavi Simons. Yeah, Dominic Solanke, Matisse Tell, Tynan Thompson, who is 17, so I haven't seen him. Leo Veliz, who's 22. Veliz is still on the – is he still on the record? Wait a minute. Hold on. Veliz is still on our books? I know this probably happened at the beginning of the summer where we re-signed him to protect his value. But he's still – That's laughable, man. That's laughable. There's a lot of room in that in the forward lines and in the attacking camp, right? I think honestly, as far as when it comes to bringing in youth players into the attack, it's probably one of the hardest things to do because scoring is one of the hardest things to do in football, especially in this league. It's very hard to score in the Premier League. So if you don't have a player that's tearing up trees now, is not bagging goals for fun at the lower levels, there's only going to be so much they're going to be able to do in the Premier League, right? They may be good for 5 goals a season, right? But they're not going to be anybody you can rely on. They're not going to be able to put any numbers that you're going to say we can invest in. And most importantly, they're going to be taking up space for whether it's wages or an actual body that's on the team. There's some attackers here who I don't think are good enough and that we shouldn't try to keep, right? Let's see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna be nice to Odebear, right? I'm gonna be nice to Odebear, and I'm gonna say, let's give him time. Let's give him time. Even though he's 21, right? He's 21. Let's just say that. And he's 21, so we're gonna give him some time. I'll give him the time on the squad. I'll maybe give him another season after this. But if he's not showing any sort of signs of development or getting better, sell him. Sell them. There's no point of trying to stockpile players that are going to be good in 5 to 6 years. It does nothing for us. It does absolutely nothing for us, right? So if he's not showing anything to us next season, I say get rid of him. I'll give him the time for next season, right? I don't want to be as harsh and only say you only got 2 seasons, you weren't good enough. Bye-bye. But he hasn't shown us anything, man. He hasn't shown us shit. So give him the time next season just to give him another season because if there's any youth I have belief in that came in, it's probably going to be him and Bergvall. That can actually be, when I say that, I mean actually be serviceable to the team. Like they're actually going to do stuff that helps the team and can actually get the team not just play nice, right? Not just run around and give a good effort and be able to, wipe their forehead, not just have, grass stains on their jersey at the end of the game. I'm talking about actually doing substantial things to help the squad. I think Odebear and Bergveld are those two players that we can see, that I think we see right now doing that. So I'm willing to give Odebear the time. But a lot of those players were Richarlison. Who else was in here? Yeah, Richarlison, Brennan Johnson. I would say one of these youth players, either Scarlett or Lancashire. I think the club would need to make a decision if we're gonna put our eggs into an attacker and giving them time. I don't think we can commit to giving two youth strikers, time playing, and actually think that's gonna help develop them. Getting the scrub minutes, splitting the scrub minutes between two players doesn't help, is what I'm trying to say. So sell one, keep the other. So either Lancashire or Donnelly, one of the two. Or I'm sorry, Lancashire or Scarlett, one of the two. Yeah, man. And there's some room in that camp. Say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, no, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, so 7. You got 7 attacking players that get time now. Dominic Solanke's injured, so really 6 right now that get the time of day. If we can sell 3 of those, Brendan Johnson, Richarlison, and Matisse Tell, let's just go with those safe bets, right? 3 players that we know aren't good enough. Yes, they can be serviceable, but you're talking about whittling a stick into a shank, right? It's not going to do any damage when you're going against the army. It's not going to do any damage when you're trying to actually get someone killed, right? It's just not going to be effective, right? It may be serviceable, but it's not going to be effective. So if we can get rid of those 3 players, you bring in, I'm going to just say two top attackers. Like I said, that know that their job is to put the ball in the back of the net to score goals. And if they can't do that, pass the ball. If we can get 2 attackers that understand that concept and show that they can do it at a high level, an efficient level, a consistent level, you're going to uplift the attack instantly. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that. So, yes, bring in 2 top attackers. I think you see the levels of that attack rise. I think you see the players, again, depending on the positions that you buy, I think left winger is definitely needed. We can get a striker as well. That's instantly going to raise the levels. If that sits down, again, if the player is there, you either have to stand up or you got to sit down. So if that sits Dominic Solanke down, if that sits who else was in there? If that sits Solanke down, right? If that sits Muwani down, right? If that sits these players down, then so be it. I'm not sitting here and saying anybody deserves playing time. I'm not saying anybody gets accreditation or like they get credits for the stuff they did last season as far as playing time. It's all open season. That has to be the mentality as well going into next season. None of this loyalty test. None of this, oh, well, you should be like this. You should be like that. If you're good and you're in form, you're playing. None of this oh, it should be this way. I've been at the team for this long, and oh, I was a part of that Europa winning squad. All the other players that have been here haven't achieved what I've achieved here. Nah, son. If you're not performing up to the level, then either stand up and fight for your position out on that practice pitch, or sit down on the bench, and you can wait for your turn to play. Either or, but no more loyalty tests, no more playing players because we feel like that's all we have, right? We need to win the Premier League. It's going to take a substantial jump as far as player skill level and the players that we have. I think the second part of winning the Premier League, it has to be the mentality from top to bottom. It can't be just it can't be just the goal. We can't be trying to hit these steps, right? I understand there's progression, but what I never understood, right, is trying to aim for mediocrity. I've never understood trying to aim to be right in the middle, right? There's very few teams that say we're aiming to get second place because we got third or because we got fourth, right? Oh, we got Europe, so now we're going to be aiming for second place. No, you aim for the top. If you finish in second place, you finish in third, you finish for fourth, okay, then that's progression because we finished higher. But we're not shooting to finish second place because the second you try to shoot for second place, you're instantly going to be dropped down to third, fourth, fifth. And then if you go even lower than that, then you're not progressing. You're regressing or, you're regressing. So the mentality from the top, and that means from the ownership down to the bottom, to the players, to the medical staff, to whoever, hell, even the people that keep up the grass, the pitch keepers, it has to be for being the absolute best, trying to dominate, trying to be a cutthroat mentality of being number one. It has to be that. It can't be anything else. Anything lower than that, you're not going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. We've been making fun of Arsenal, or I shouldn't say we've been making fun of Arsenal, but Arsenal fans have been getting laughed at for the last 3 years because, right, they've done this whole phases thing, right, with their club. They say, oh, we're in phase 2, we're in phase 3, we're in phase 4, right? But when it came down to when they had a chance to win the league, they didn't do it. And that's been 3 times now. 2 to 3 times now that they've had an opportunity to go out to the league. They couldn't do it because they're trying to do this phase and they're trying to say, oh, well, if we finish third this season, then we need to finish second next season. And that's progress for a next step. And that's, oh, okay, we can, wave that season off because it wasn't necessarily us going back, but we didn't necessarily put the pressure on ourselves to have to win anything. And you're not going to achieve anything acting or behaving in that way. And that's why you've seen Arsenal fall short all these times, right? That's why you see teams when they kind of go for these goals and settle for these goals, they end up falling short. Look at Nottingham Forest last season. Everybody was saying, oh, they're going to get top 4. They're going to get top 4. They're going to get top 4. Watch out. Nottingham Forest back in the Champions League. And they settled for that. And now look, they fell out of the top 4. So you can say the same thing with who was I going to say? Liverpool. Right, Liverpool. You can make that same argument for Liverpool in a way, right? They bought the attacking players. The balance wasn't right. But I think their mentality was, and maybe Liverpool won't be the best example because they were trying to get a center back, and I don't think they got the center back they wanted. Yes, they probably should have gone after somebody else, but they still had the intent. So take that away. Liverpool's not that. So, but yes, Arsenal and Nottingham Forest, those are my examples because those are teams that when they saw the goal in front of them, they settled for that goal instead of saying, well, that's something that we can achieve as we're still going up, as we're still looking to achieve the most that we can achieve this season. We see that step is, clearly in view, clearly in sight. So, and that's kind of the mentality you got to have. So with Spurs, right, we can't sit here and saying, oh, well, getting top four. We need a team that's built to get top four before we can get a team that's built for winning the Premier League. Or we need to get a team that's built for doing this before we get – no. Why don't you build a team that you think can win everything? Build a team that is on paper and looks like and feels like it can win every competition that it's in, and then at the end of that season, if you don't win every competition, then you know this team is only good for winning this League Cup, or this team is only good for winning the Premier League, or this team's only good for winning a Champions League, right? Don't settle. We cannot settle for mediocrity, and that's going to be the biggest – it's probably one of the toughest things as far as mentality to do, right? Because obviously it's nice to not have that pressure and tension of needing to perform in every game and having to win in every game, right? It's stressful. I'm not saying that it's something that's easy to do. I'm not saying that's something that's just easy to adopt and maneuver in. It's pressure. It's tension. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right? It's not gonna be the best. You're gonna lose games and it's gonna suck really, really bad, right? You're gonna draw games. You're gonna be really pissed off that you couldn't win the game. But that's the sort of mentality you have to have. And yes, people are going to laugh at you. You're going to have your moment where people laugh at you. You're going to have your moment where you fall short and everybody's going to be there to kick dirt on you and to point and laugh. That's the mentality of this. If you're an elite club, if you're an elite player, you can't let those things get in the way of your goal. You can't let those things stop you from achieving what you want to achieve because you fell short a little bit. It's got to be, and that's why it has to start out from the top. If you know from the top that your boss is demanding this, you're automatically, it compels you to say that has to be my standard. That has to be the baseline. Because if I want to overachieve and gain more, then I know that I got to be at least this of what they're expecting me or the expectations they're putting on me, right? So it has to start out from the top because that's the only way that it's going to reinforce those players to say, I got to perform here. I got to be my best because if the ownership sees I'm not doing my best, I'm not getting my contract. I'm not getting the extension I wanted. I'm not going to get paid like I want, or I'm not going to get the playing time like I want. And that can alter the course of a player as much as a lot of people think, oh, as soon as that ink dries on that contract, as soon as you're finished writing their name, they can just, I don't have to play. I don't got to do any of this because I'm already getting paid. It's whatever. I'm just going to fuck off, right? I'm not sure how all contracts work, but there's performance clauses you have to hit to get your money. So if they know that those performance clauses are going to be at the absolute top, then that player knows that he's going to have to perform. He's going to be going into that practice fighting for space in that squad, knowing that he's got elite players all around him. He's going to go into that game fighting to get the ball and to do something and to win the game because he knows that his money relies on it, his position on the team relies on it, his employment relies on it. Hell, his employment relies on it. So it has to stem from the top. That can come down to the manager. It'll dribble down into the players. And if you can get the right players, that balance, again, it all does have to balance at the end of the day. It is a delicate balance, but if you can get those factors in, it makes trying to balance all that, especially once you get into the middle of the season, kind of like where we are now, right? Once you kind of get to these parts of the seasons where it's getting a little tougher, players you're gonna have your ring of injuries you get at sort of the beginning of the season. So when it starts getting to these areas, you understand, what the goal is, what's still expected of you. There is no more. You don't change your standards. You don't. Oh well, this and this is going on, so maybe we need to pull back and maybe we need to. No, it's 100%. We're going for everything. We're trying to win everything 100% of the time. And if you're not, then you're not suited to be at this club. No ifs, no ands, or buts about it. if we can somewhat adopt that mentality, and again, it has to be from the owners. I think this, and I kind of feel this is my opinion. It feels like sometimes fans want the manager to kind of be the driving force of that, or expect a player to be the driving force of that, right? And I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying, why would you want to rely on that, right? Why would you want to rely on a manager to come in and change how your club operates, right? Why do you want to rely on a player to come in and try to convince everybody at the club to operate this way? One, it's unrealistic, right? Because then you end up with rants like Conte, where it looks like they're just screaming and screaming into a microphone until their face is red, and everybody's just like, wow. That looks, wow, you look pretty stressed out, or, oh, wow, looks like you don't want the job anymore. Seems like this guy doesn't want the job anymore, huh? Instead of, so you can't, we shouldn't be expecting these players or these managers to be coming in and changing the outlook of how the club views victory and progression, right? It has to stem from the top. And if, like a lot of fans say, if it doesn't, we don't think it does. It's been confirmed it hasn't, because when Levy was fired, right, that's what all the Enoch kids were saying. Oh, he was the one holding us back. He was doing this. He was doing that. Well, now it's your turn. You have the keys in your hand. So if there's no progress, then we know that either you were complicit with how Levy was running the club, or hell, the how he was running the club was being instructed by you. It was being reinforced by you. Because if you're his boss, he's doing that, and y'all are applauding him because you're getting a whole bunch of money, right? Then you're just as much culpable as Levy was. And just because you fired Levy, right? Or just because, oh, Daddy's not running as much as we are now, right? Or Daddy Enoch was running everything, or he was the one that's instructing Daniel, but you were along in those boardrooms. You were going along with everything. Your face, you had just as much of a grin on your face as Daniel Levy had. They're looking at those reports, and they're seeing that the football is getting lower and lower and lower, but the money and the investments and everything and the property is going higher and higher and higher, right? You were just as culpable, or you were just had a big shit-eating grin as much as everybody else in that boardroom. So don't come to us, right, to us fans who have been watching this go on for the last decade, and say, oh, the clouds overhead are gone. The storm is over. It's a new Tottenham. It's a new day. Because we know from the last 10 years, it's going to take a lot more than just a statement of saying that to show we need to see intent. We need to see action. We need to see actual progression, right? First key, this January window. What are we doing this January window, right? If we're not buying anybody, get them out. If we bring in players that we know aren't really going to be serviceable to the squad and just kind of a place filler, or just another body to throw amongst the mixed, or another youngster, right? If we get another teenager to come in which we can't have any expectations of because they're only a teenager, get them out. Like, that's no more of that. So it all starts with them. And we're going to believe what they say. What the Enix kids are saying is that this is supposed to be a new dawn for Tottenham. This is going to be the new day. This is going to be the new and improved Tottenham. Then we need to see some of that on the field. Like, literally in the field, on the field. Not figuratively, literally in the field or on the field. We have to see that progression, because it's been way too damn long. We've seen way too many statements. We've seen way too many managers come in. We've seen way too many sporting directors come in to think that, oh, a matter of changing them is what's been the issue this whole time. Because you just said it was Levy. You just said it was Levy. They just told us it was Levy, right? So if they have to come in and change everything again, then it wasn't really Levy. Well, I'm going to give them time. I'll say this. Let me not get ahead of myself, right? They do deserve time to try to make that transition, right? So just like getting this summer window and going into this January window, and at the end of the season, then we can kind of assess everything of whether or not it's progression, right? I'm not saying that, oh, this summer window they didn't do enough for us, so it's the end of the world, right? But that first test is going to be that January window, right? The next test is going to be at the end of the season when we do our evaluations. That next test is going to be the next summer window. What the club is saying, where we are and what we need to do, how are they approaching the next window? And that evaluation at the end of the season is important, because if the Enid kids are like, well, this was just a great season, this is better than we could ever imagine, and we end up finishing 7th with no trophies, then it's not going to get much better. They're not going to be aiming for much higher. But if they're saying, hey, this was just a season, it's in almost, I want to say, already in the rear view, we're looking towards the future, we're looking to get better, brighter, faster, smarter, more powerful, more people in the stands, whatever it may be, and they go about it in the right way, and they prove it in the transfer windows, they prove it with backing the manager, they prove it with improvements on the field, then you get that balance right from up top, it trickles down to the bottom. Because guess what Frank is going to say? When he gets those top players, he's going to be like, oh, shit, I asked for this guy, and they gave him to me, right? If Thomas Frank is saying Savino is the left winger or left midfielder, left winger for me, and we end up dropping $95 million to get him from Man City, he's going to be like, oh, shit, I got to use it. Not only do I feel like I got to use this guy, or we got to get some results with him because they paid $95 million. I asked for him. They paid for it. So if I ended up sitting him on the bench and end up playing Odebear out on the left wing because of whatever reason, then he knows it's going to be a mark on his book. It's going to be a mark on his book. Fans are going to say, well, he asked for that player. Why aren't you using that player? So it's going to trickle down. It's going to be on him. And so he's going to want to perform. He's going to have to perform because the microscope's going to be on him. Naturally, the fans, people from the outside looking in and say, hey, that ownership got you X, 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 and X player. They spent X amount of money. What is Thomas Frank doing with that? And then with that trickles down to the players, because you got some players that probably like Thomas Frank that say, I want this guy to continue to be the manager. I like him being at this club because I like being at this club. I want him to continue managing, so I'm going to give my best for him. You got some players that are going to be saying, hey, with this manager and how we play, I know I can get my numbers up. So regardless if I stay here at Tottenham or go to a different club, I know if those numbers are looking right, I know my check is going to be looking right. Whatever the motivation it may be for the player, that's also going to trickle down from the manager, because they're going to see that the manager's under pressure from the board, who both are their bosses, right? So they're going to say, both of my bosses right now are putting this pressure is trickling down onto us to perform, and some players may not be able to cut it. Some players will be able to cut it, but it's going to trickle down. The players are going to feel it, and that's going to help them stand up to perform. And that's the balance that I'm talking about that you need from the top. I know I say it's pressure, but it's a balance of what's needed to win and the desire to win. If you just have all the desire to win, but you don't know what's needed to win, then you pretty much have a Tottenham Hotspur, right? You got a bunch of fans paying a whole bunch of money to watch mediocre football and to not really win anything. If you have everything to win, but you don't have the desire to win, you get like a Brighton situation where you got good players, got good recruitment. Hell, you're making nearly $200 million every transfer window, so it's not like you don't have money to spend. As a matter of fact, I'm sure if you look at some of their buys, they're throwing the wallet, they're throwing their checkbook at some of these youngsters. But it's apparent from the ownership down to the players, that club is simply for development. For bigger teams that need to develop younger players, we'll send them to Brighton. For Brighton to make a profit on some of the players that they're recruiting at lower levels, bring them to Brighton. Get a manager that plays a certain style of football, show off their skills, show off what they can do, playing in, whatever setup in a tough league. Sell them for however much you need. So you get a Brighton when you have everything you do, because I do think Brighton have great players, and not saying they can necessarily win the Premier League, but I mean, Leicester City did it. Leicester City did it. You telling me Brighton doesn't have at least 2 or 3 youngsters they can get at least 150 for? You're out of your mind. I mean, if you're telling me they can't find a good player to spend that 150 on, you're also out of your mind. But that's the thing. They don't have the desire to win. Their ownership is saying this is simply for development purposes. They're comfortable with that. It seems like the fans are comfortable with that. It seems like the players are comfortable with that. So that's just what they are. They're a development filler team. And yes, you get some great moments. Yes, they can be a tough away game. They can be a tricky home game. But other than that, that's all Brighton is. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to achieve a whole lot. So those are kind of like those are just kind of 2 examples in the Premier League of what happens when you don't have that balance between the desire to win and actually having the tools to win, right? So Tottenham need to fix up in both departments, right? Because I think they need help in both departments. I think it needs to come from the ownership. And if it's not going to come from the ownership and what we see in the next, season or 2, then just like what we did with Levy, fans need to stop showing up to games. Fans need to stop paying for tickets and stop paying for their season tickets. Fans need to start showing up outside of the grounds and voicing their frustrations. As much as everybody wants to sit here and say that there is some invisible hand that was in play, puppeteering Daniel Levy being fired, it really is a strange coincidence that when all these fans are complaining, when we have a shitty manager, that all of a sudden some movement starts happening upstairs. All of a sudden, when people are saying, oh, well, Levy would never sell, he owns this much of the share. All of a sudden, the Enoch kids get together and they get organizing with the other people in that council or in that group or in that team, whatever you want to call it, that got Daniel Levy fired. They're able to pull some strings after people were complaining and the numbers were going down and fans were voicing, hey, I'm not paying for this. I'm openly saying I'm not paying for this, and I encourage other Tottenham fans to not pay for it either. That's what got everybody's butts into gear. So the same thing needs to happen. We need to band together, right? And I understand that with Levy and at the time with Ange, it was a mixed bag because we were on the verge of something great. But now since we've won a trophy, right? Now that we've done that, put that behind us, right? We're not going to be as emotional when it comes to this trophy, right? Especially if we are in a Europa League competition, right? Maybe with the domestic cup, it will be a little bit different because we haven't won a domestic cup in a while either. So, that is a factor into play. I'm willing to, concede. But say we're in the Europa League competition. Man, we already won that shit, dog. We won that shit. No more, oh, but we gotta get behind the team, and the team's gonna be on all the stuff that we're saying. And, we can't say anything against the team. No, man. No. Say, we're sick of this. If we win this trophy, great. Great. Put the trophy in the trophy cabinet, but your asses still have to go. You still have to go. We want to do more than 2 trophies in a matter of 25 years. No, 3 trophies in 25 years. We want to do more than this. We're capable of doing more than that. So fans are going to have to get together and make that statement known. And I think the fans should be encouraged to do that. I don't think fans should say, oh, since we got Levy out or whatever we did last season was rowdy and distracting, so we shouldn't be doing it again or it should be discouraged. No. And yes, I understand that the fan base was toxic. It was divided. And I don't want to necessarily say that we need to be in that position again. I would wish as a fan base we can all be on one accord and say, Enoch, get the hell out of this club. But a lot of fans don't think like that. There's a lot of fans that think that a lot of the issues now is simply just down to a manager, and these managers not getting the best out of the players, and the manager's not employing the best tactics. So change the manager again. We go again. A lot of people are going to be sitting there saying, "Oh, if we get an Oliver Glasner, we're going to be winning. Oh, if we get what's his name, Areola at Bournemouth, oh, we're going to be winning. Oh, that's all we needed was just to switch out this manager. Oh, we just need to do this and do that." No, it needs to be a culture shift, not just a mentality, a culture, because it has to be more than just how we think. It has to be how we act, how we speak, how we breathe, how we walk, how we can carry ourselves as a fan base as a whole. We can't be this meager. Oh, I'm just happy to be in the top six, guys. I'm glad to be in the top six again. I'm glad you guys want me in the top six. Oh, Chelsea, or oh, I'm glad Chelsea and Arsenal aren't talking bad about us anymore. No, it needs to be we're the big dogs, right? You got the ownership out. We come here to play. Look at Man City, right? When do you think Man City made that jump in that mentality that, hey, we are officially big dogs now? It wasn't after they won the Premier League. I'm going to tell you that right now. It was not till after they won the Premier League. They had that mentality before. They had to instill that before so that they can go and win the Premier League. And then once you have it, then you can say that's exactly what we need to do. That's exactly the mindset. That's why we have this mindset, because this was the goal the whole time. It was the goal the whole time. We told y'all. We told y'all we were the big dogs. Now here's the proof. Here's the proof. Trophies in our arms. Here's the proof. But we've been telling y'all this before. So it's Tottenham. We need to get to that point where we start telling people now. This isn't the same Tottenham before. We are the big dogs. And that has to come from the ownership. If it doesn't, it's done dealio, bro. It's done dealio. And the fans need to get in on it as well. Fans need to get in on it as well. So that's kind of my little rant of what we need to win the Premier League. Woo. It's been an hour and a half, folks. It's been an hour and a half. We're going to call it a stream here tonight. I'm going to thank everybody for joining. We had absolutely nobody come in to the live chat from what I saw, but hey, that's okay. We're going to go at it again on Wednesday. Like I said, I'm going to be traveling on Wednesday. So may stream from like the car or something. I'm going to try to toy with my X page. Maybe I'll do like some voice notes or like maybe like a something with X on that page, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to have the greatest access to YouTube as I'm driving. So maybe we'll just do like a couple of voice notes on the X page. Maybe I'll go live super late on Wednesday and maybe do like an hour, 30-minute or an hour live stream, just kind of checking in on everything. Probably talking about the Slavia Prague game on Tuesday. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a great stream. Yeah, got some ideas out, got some opinions out, right? You guys are going to join in, sure enough, and make your voices heard in the live chat. Feel free to say anything in the live chat, really. You can say, hey, hello, kiss my butt, whatever it is. Just say it. Put it in the live chat. I want to see you guys engaging. I want you guys to engage with me. If you don't like any of my opinions and what I'm saying, feel free to put that in the comments. Feel free to put that in the live chat. Feel free to tell me to shut up. I'm smart. I'm dumb. Whatever you want to say, right? But I want to thank everybody again for joining us today. Just one more time, folks. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It's only going up from here, folks. It's only going up from here, right? De La Spurs, we're gonna be coming to you live every week. So go ahead and get on this now, so you're not late on the train. You're not standing in line outside the club wondering how you get in, right? So yes, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the X page. The link for the YouTube channel is in the description. So go ahead, open the description, like and subscribe to the channel. It's been fun, folks. It's been fun. It's been a great stream. I hope you guys have a good night. Get some rest. Get ready for tomorrow. Hopefully we get another 24 hours to figure all this shit out. So again, thank you guys all for joining the stream. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night.